my Jesus Christ is more important than your Muhammad or whatever. Like, I don't care. What has Jesus ever done for me? Or Muhammad or any of these motherfuckers. The only people that have helped me in life are other people. So we should keep that cycle going. People should learn how to be fucking empathetic, or they should just go fuck off because they're not doing anything of actual totalitarian, like, use. Like, not totalitarian or whatever, that's like a government type, but think about the totality of life, right? Think about what is a human life in the greater time scale of things. The only thing that a human life really is how you interact with the world and how you cause it to change. So if people are gonna only be focused on improving themselves or improving their money or whatever, that's never gonna fucking help anyone. We have to treat it like a fucking game of TF2. We have to work together. We have to figure this shit out. But everybody's like, I'm telling you right now, people don't have souls. Like, I can't prove it, it's a matter of metaphysics, but I really just think people don't have souls. People are individuals, but people don't have, like, any, there's no, like, metaphysical part of you that consists after you fucking die. Death is just like a big sleep. You don't remember what happens during that. Like, can you remember before you were born? It's just like being asleep, right? So, wouldn't death be the same fucking thing? Like, I know I'm the only one talking right now, but does anyone fucking feel me on this shit? Is this facts? Or am I just talking out of my ass here? You say it's both ways, that like I'm talking out of my ass and like I'm speaking facts, but tell me that's not facts. Tell me it's not facts that you don't like have any choice in your circumstance of birth or like the influences that are around you. So of course there are always going to be harmful people or bad people in a societal standard, and we shouldn't force everybody to one societal standard, but it should be harm-based. That's what it should be. It should be, there's like a philosophical like ethics term for that. That's called harm-based. Like deontological is duty-based. I don't know what harm-based, but there's a term is for it, and that's what our governments and societal systems should be, is that as long as you're not actively hurting or controlling anybody else with like undue fucking like, you just shouldn't be doing it. Like there's no reason for anybody to be worried or freaking the fuck out. Like, as long as you're not hurting anybody else, you can do whatever the fuck you guys want to do. And so I think that is why in video games the whole, violence argument doesn't stand. Is because in video games, you're not really hurting anything because it doesn't really exist. And so people could say, to you like, oh, well, if life really is a simulation, then why would it matter if I hurt other people or I don't? And that's the whole point, is that we don't know if life is a simulation. I think it is. We don't know that it is, but it feels real, and that is enough. That is enough that should make you, like, be an ethically good person and just not fuck with other people. I mean, yeah, I don't 100% believe, I think simulation is a possibility, but there's no way to prove it. It's like fucking the concept of God. But then again, think about it. Something doesn't just come out of nothing. Like, okay, in physics, entropy is a thing, right? Where if an act reverses entropy, like in a universal setting, it is a chemical reaction that's forced. So basically, a human person has to do it, or like something with some semblance of logic has to cause it to happen. So basically what I'm saying is the universe was created, right? But on an entropy standpoint, like from a physics standpoint, on a universal scale, the universe never should have come to exist in the first place, right? So that means that some form of logic had to make the universe come about. Some form of greater logic had to actually create the universe, right? So I definitely think there is a God, per se, that is like a higher power of this existence. But I don't think individuals have souls or any of that shit, or like you're going to an afterlife where you'll feel any better. Because think about it like this: how could there be any afterlife if like your actions aren't really controlled by you? What if your actions are just coming from your inputs from your surroundings? So like when you're in a game of Team Fortress and you see an enemy, that's when you know, like, okay, shoot them, like get the enemy, like whatever. What if that's how your emotions are and how your thoughts are? Is that's how they formulate, is from sensory input. That's how your brain gets information, right? So how is it to be said that you can't simulate that input, that conscious, existence? Oh, well, we have emotion. You could just code emotion. Who's to say that we couldn't have more emotions? That we could have, like, it's like colors that we can't see, so therefore we can't describe them. There could be, like, other emotions that we don't know about, but they're just not in this existence. We can't really manipulate emotions on computers yet. You say it's just a bunch of code, but what happens when it starts thinking for itself and it starts like actually talking to people? Like there's AI out there that can write shit for you right now, right? Like paragraphs of stuff, and it'll make sense. But what happens when AI begins to be able to think for itself? Exactly, we're doomed, because when AI is created, someone is going to want to control it for a purpose. And usually that purpose will be nefarious because people don't know what the actual purpose of existence is. How can you do a good job of something if you don't know what you're trying to do? That's why a lot of people feel confused and hopeless in life. It's because they don't really understand what the fuck they're doing there. They don't know why they're living. They kind of want to keep going. They want to see what it's all for, but they don't know why the fuck they're there. But what if I can tell you? What if I can tell you why people are alive and they exist? What if someone could do that and they can prove it using physics? And it's something where it's not like a religion. It's not like something that I would force on people. I would be like, this is the exact truth. But what if I could just present my evidence and, like in any discussion or argument, just present my reasoning and evidence and just have people hear it out and just, have it spread in a mimetic manner where people just talk about it and they consider it. Because I think I can describe the meaning of life and existence and why human beings and all sentient life was created in some manner. It's a test, right? Because we have free will ultimately. And I know I argue that people are inherently innocent because they just have sensory input. So then, how can they have reasoning? But that sensory input and that reasoning that we have is consciousness. That is what thought is just taking information and then making sense of it, right? So I think that even though we are all inherently innocent, we also have free will to make choices on like educated decisions. And that's why I say that's where like evil is actually created, is when you know that you're harming someone else when you don't fucking need to and you do it purposely. But I think that I can describe the nature of existence and creation. But everybody gets pissed about it. Everybody's like, oh, that shit is crazy. Like, But it's not about controlling people or like any sort of fascism or communism or any shit like that. Like that, nobody needs that. It's not like I guess what I'm trying to say is the only organization that people really need is each other. They don't need like any fundamental code apart from like ethics and like what's morally acceptable. But otherwise, people should just be free to do what they want and like make whatever decisions and believe in whatever they want. But people also need to learn how to understand each other and work together, because that's why you see such a divide in American politics right now. Is nobody understands each other. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. There's so much disinformation, and that's why that disinformation shit has worked out so well for Russia. I mean, fuck, there's a pandemic ravaging the United States right now because of it. Like, people don't even believe that the fucking pandemic exists. And so, my whole thing is, like, don't let your ideology keep you from always trying to look for ways to help other people. Is right now, while I play this game of Team Fortress, I have a freedom to use my mic, right? And that's, you know, you might be annoyed with me, you might mute me, and that's okay, that's fine, you can do whatever the fuck you want, you can leave the game. You could kick me, you could make me leave the game. But while I'm here, I'm going to try and spread this message of this is my ideology, that don't let your ideology get in the way of looking for a way forward for humanity, for a better life. Because that's the only thing that everybody truly wants, that I can say that every human being truly wants, is they just want a better life. That's all that people want. And as long as we're looking for that and actively trying to make a way to get there, even when we're just chilling out, I think we'll be alright. I think we'll be just fine. Even with all this shit about, you know, climate change and this pandemic, it's things that we can fix with time, effort, and understanding. And I think that's all we need to do, is we need to just get over our little bullshit and start working together.
Sure.
I ordered some DoorDash, and it's still not here. I ordered it a while ago.
Honestly, I think what sets the divide is what you hear on, like, the news, because now it's everywhere, thanks to the internet.
What's up?
Like, you said that we need to... Oh. You said that we need to, like, be together and stuff, and I think, like, the internet sets a divide and shit like that.
I mean, it's true that the internet has... That's the problem with the internet, is in the early stages, it was used for just, like, communicating amongst, like, it's just communication, right? And for, like, scientific purposes. Like, it wasn't memes, it wasn't video games yet, it was literally a bunch of colleges communicating together over computers, right? But now, when everybody has access to their own form of communication and whatever they choose to communicate and, like, their choice of forum, like Facebook or Reddit or Twitter or Snapchat, whatever it is, people get to choose what truth they believe in. But that is the beauty of science, is that you can prove something empirically. Is you can prove that there is a certain fundamental nature to something. And I think that I can prove that there is a certain fundamental nature, aka the meaning of life, to human beings. But people, they get uncomfortable with that. they don't want to, they want to stick to their, like, worldview of whatever they're doing or whatever they're working on is ultimately going to work out, and that, you know, their family's going to be happy and they'll be secured and they'll be cared for. But that's not what we have right now. We're not truly making the changes that we need to make to ensure our future.
Yeah.
And that is the problem, is that people get upset with, like, oh, these boomers and, like, oh, all this, like, you know, political bullshit. It's because nobody is actually taking action to ensure that people are having a better life. They're all just trying to look for their own benefits. You know what separates a fucking government from a dictatorship? Is a government serves the people. A dictatorship serves one person.
I got a full load of stickies if you want to do it.
And we kind of have a dictatorship of an oligarchy in the United States. Is the rich and the powerful literally control news networks and outlets, and that's like the whole thing with Fox News and like all this and CNN and people being like fake news. Is it's true, there is lobbying even in the politics in America. Is there are people buying to have laws made, and that's not serving the people, that's serving a higher class. That's what lobbying is doing, is it's paying the people who are already rich to stay rich by just passing shitty laws that serve a certain group of people. And that is why we're in this shitty situation right now with a pandemic and a horrible economy and all this bullshit. But I believe we can fix it. I believe once we start trying to make a government for the people and for a better life of all the billions of people that we have living on Earth, that's when we'll start seeing some peace. The thing that's wrong with communism and everybody work together to help people is it uses people to help people, right? But my whole thing isn't really like communism. It's more like we can use the resources that we have to create technology that makes life optimized for everybody and gives them the freedom to do whatever they want as long as they're not fucking with anybody else. Now, doesn't that sound like a good life to you? I don't know, but I don't know. I think we can get there. I think we can do it. But my whole thing is that we need to just make politics for the people. The whole point of democracy and politicians being picked by the people is that we pick representatives, which basically is, that's a republic. The United States is a republic. It's not a democracy. A democracy would just be the people picking the laws. So in the United States, we have a mix between republic and democracy because people can vote to get laws made, but then the republic, like, reviews it. The people sitting in positions of power review the bills and say, okay, this is what we will and won't pass. And so I think we have to stop making it that the republic only serves the actual, like, I guess you say Republicans. Is like, even though that's not the belief set that everybody in a republic has, all of them are Republican beings. That's all that representatives are, is they represent a republic. So we need to make it so that if you're holding an office in a government, right, you need to be holding that office for the people and not just for your own gain. And that was the huge problem that everybody has with Donald Trump, is everybody will give you their reason upside down, left and to the backwards of, and their mother of why they don't like Trump. But the main problem with him is that his presidency served him and his ego instead of the people. That was the true problem. And that is the problem we will continue to see having if we don't have people in power shift their mindset and their dynamic, is that the people who seek out power and will have like power in government do it for the wrong reasons. And we as citizens under a government have to verify that these people in these offices deciding our laws and our policies are not doing it with the malintent. it's so fucked up. Like, we have so much horrible stuff going on just for someone's specific benefit all the time. Like, that's literally what the Vietnam War was. By the way, the United States lost that, in case your history teacher didn't ever tell you. The United States does lose wars. And why are Americans proud of that, by the way? I'm American, and my dad has a shirt that says World War back-to-back champions, right? And it's like, haha, like, that's kind of funny. But, like, at the same time, why would you glorify that? Why would you glorify, like, all the millions of people that were killed in wars just for, like, if you really think about it, no big fucking reason. Just like it was ideological bullshit, like Hitler being like, first it was allies in the First World War when that one fucking Archduke got assassinated and everybody was like, my ally. Yeah, imagine if Archduke Ferdinand had a fucking dead ringer. That would have saved us from the whole fucking First World War. But no, everybody and their allies were like, well, Archduke Ferdinand is dead now, so we gotta fight. But in the Second World War, you know what that one was about? That one was just Hitler being like, anyone who is Jewish or they are disabled or they are black, they are the worst. We gotta kill them. That was the Second World War. That was Hitler. All of these wars, all of this shit is just ideological baby booty butthole bullshit. And now we have nukes and shit. And people are talking about a bright future for humanity. We're not gonna fucking have one if people don't learn to stop being selfish or only looking out for themselves. Am I selfish for playing Team Fortress 2 right now instead of being at a fucking soup kitchen? Maybe. Alright? Maybe. But have I served at a soup kitchen before? You fucking bet your ass. I'm not saying there's like, you shouldn't have downtime or you should always be working to do this shit. But if you have the time or you can spare help, just fucking do it. It's not like, it doesn't stand to harm you at all to help other people. Literally, it could stand to benefit you. And people don't get that, and it makes me so fucking sad. I want to change this world. I want to see things be better. I want to have a better world for my kids, and that's why I'm all hyped up about this type of shit. But it's like I feel like nobody's doing that right now. At least in the United States. It's like Europe has their bullshit and like whatever, it's fun, it's cute. They have their history monuments and they don't want to do any more war because they've already done a lot of that and they're really bad at it. But in the United States, it's like they talk about being the greatest country in the world or like they're so great and powerful. But now we have a fucking disease that it's just killing like what? 250,000 fucking people. Like, it's just like 9/11's happening every fucking day with this disease, and people don't care at all anymore. In the so-called greatest country, self-proclaimed greatest country in the world. Oh, how fucking great and mighty. Oh, please, United States with your fat fucking burgers and your, military. Ooh. Russia has manipulated people in the United States.
We didn't
so
even try
hard.
and stay inside, which sucks.
Like, Russia has gotten people so politicized and so divided with social media and just bot accounts and fake accounts that in the United States, talking about the fucking virus is enough to set people off. But it's like, how do you solve a problem that you don't acknowledge? How do you do that? It's so upsetting to me, and I know people are worn out from it, and they don't want to hear about it anymore, but it just makes me so fucking depressed. Like, it makes me not want to have kids. It makes me want to commit necro. Like, I really just don't want to have to deal with all this bullshit that we're going to see in the future. Because we be honest with me. Do you think humanity is on a track to get better right now? Like, fuck no.
Medic's still on the phone.
Boys, we have a traitor!
We have lost the control point. Our control point is being captured.